Okay, so today our agenda point is to discuss about the concepts of layer uh, in microservices and how layers are affecting the size of your image. If your image size is bigger, it means your application is heavier. When you will upload your image to repository, it will take more time. When you will download, it will take more time, more bandwidth, more disk space. So this is a duty responsibility of a DevOps engineer to make the size of a container uh, to make the size of the container uh, as low as possible. So first of all, I will give you the idea by just making. But first of all, I will give you the idea of the Docker file. When you will understand the Docker file, uh, then I will give you the idea of layers, and then we will understand how we can reduce the layers in our image file. So, okay, we can start. For example, we have images. Very basic example I will give you. Just like this is the Nginx image. Okay. So if I have some container running or not. Okay, I have Docker start. For example, this is Nginx based container. Okay, this is Nginx based container. And for example, I want to change, by default, this is running on port 80. And I don't want to run this container on port 80. I want to run this on different port. So what I will do, I will just change the port number inside the configuration file. So where is Nginx configuration file? Uh, it is normally, if you install Nginx on any Linux operating system, all the configurations are going under the etc directory. So under the etc nginx and nginx.conf. So there are different type of containers. So you don't know exactly where their configuration files are exactly. So you need to consult the documentation of that container. Or you can just consult how when you install that application as a simple in a virtual machine, where those configuration files are going. Then you can search inside your container where that configuration file is. So this is the Nginx configuration file. And this is a container, and it does not contain any VIM editor. So what I will do, I will use cat. I don't want to edit this file here. So cat, I want to show you where the port number is mentioned. So this is the base configuration file, and this base configuration file is defining these are the maximum concurrent active session this Nginx scans port. Okay, this include wherever you see in Linux, include inside your configuration file. It's mean uh, some remaining part of this configuration is under this directory. So I'm going this under this directory and listing. So this is the configuration file. I do cat. So you can see, yes, here the port 80 is defined for IPv6, IPv4, and this is for IPv6. So we will change these ports to different port. So what I will do, first of all, I need to default.conf, pwd, this is a path, docker cp from this location to current location. So docker cp command is used to copy the file from the container or from your host machine inside the container. So right now, what was the source? This was the source. And dot mean the current directory. Right now, you can see I just pulled down the configuration file of Nginx. So why I pull it down? Because I want to build a new image with my customized configuration file. So what I need to know where exactly this configuration file is. Okay, now I will create a directory. For example, image build. And let me move this file to inside this directory. This directory now contains. So why I create this directory? I will explain you. So now I have this configuration file. Now my target is to build a new image with my configuration, my custom file. So for that reason, I need to create a Docker file. Okay, it's it's the default by default the name of this file is Docker file. D is caps. So now to understand this concept of how this Docker file will work, just go to this docs.docker.com. Wherever you are confused, you need to consult this documentation. So for example, yeah, Docker file, custom Docker file syntax, Docker file reference, Docker file release notes. Okay, let's see which documentation is giving us the best idea. Docker file reference. The Docker can build images automatically by reading the instruction from Docker files. This is the definition of Docker file. So actually what you are doing, you are creating a Docker file, and inside your Docker file, you will write all your instructions, and then you will run a command that will read this Docker file and will build a new image. So now you can see the overview. The Docker file can contain all these instructions. I mean, whatever you need, add or argument or CMD, copy, entry point. So we will start with very bare minimum to understand the concept, and gradually we will use the more complex these instructions. So just remember this keyword instruction. I mean, sometime in interview they are asking what is the concept of Docker file, then you must have to use this keyword instructions. So what instructions are doing, I mean, it will perform some specific task. So the format of the Docker file is just like this. You will write instruction, and instruction is always in caps letter, and then you have to define the argument of that instruction. Okay, just like this is a command, normal Linux command. So you want to run inside your container. So you will use the run instruction. Okay, so whenever you are building a new image, so your starting point is always from. From mean what is the base operating system you are going to use to build this image. So if I go to Docker Hub, okay, and I just name any Linux flavor. Anyone remember any Linux flavor name? Anyone could?
Ubuntu,
Ubuntu.
CentOS,
Mint,
Ubuntu.
and
Okay, Ubuntu. Okay, so Ubuntu is providing it's complete. If you go to Ubuntu, for example, you type here to download. Okay. Okay, this is the official website of Ubuntu, and they are providing you a complete ISO. This is 6 GB. It's a complete ISO. But in parallel to providing the complete ISO to run an operating system on a bare metal server, they are also providing their bare minimum image to build the custom containers images. So this is the Ubuntu image and its size 23 days ago they updated. Okay. And what is this image? This image is just a layer of file system, whatever you need to run a Ubuntu operating system. So why its size is low? Because the containers are using the base operating system kernel. The containers are not using it's their own kernel, so that's why their overhead is less, their size is less. For example, I can type here CentOS. So they are also providing. CentOS is almost end of life. There is Alma Linux. I think they will, yeah, they also provided their own. Alma Linux is now the copy, the same like CentOS. For example, I believe Red Hat. So the concept here I want to explain you mean every Linux flavor will provide you the base image to build your container. So now it's your decision what base image you want to use. So this is UBI, Universal Base Image, version 8. Okay, and the same it's, Alpine. Alpine is also a Linux flavor, and this is the smallest image. So to give you the idea, before building this Docker file, I will do one thing. Docker.
इस इमेज के ऊपर हम डॉकर भी डॉकर कॉन्फ़िगर कर सकते हैं।
ये डॉकर इन इमेजेस के थ्रू ही रन करेगा कंटेनर को।
ठीक है।
This is just like I download this image.
इसमें मैं डॉकर को
Sorry.
इंस्टॉल करने की जरूरत होगी इस इमेज में या जस्ट बेस ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम?
Docker is basically your engine. You have to install the Docker on your base operating system.
जो इमेज है हमारे पास, जो इस ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम का इमेज होगा, इसके ऊपर हम डॉकर इंजन इंस्टॉल करेंगे।
जी, if you look here, systemctl status Docker. This is the service we are running on our base operating system. This is a core engine that is running and managing all the Docker related stuff. So now if you look Docker images, I pull down this Ubuntu image. Its size is 76 MB. Okay, now I will pull down Alpine. So these are publicly available. You don't need to Docker images. What is the size of Alpine? 7.7 MB. And its size is 76 MB. Now, okay, now pull down the, for example, Debian. Sorry, what is the spell of Debian?
DEBIAN.
DEBIAN. DE. Yes, DE.
Debian.
DIAN.
So actually, your Ubuntu is based on Debian.
Yes.
Debian is the core of Ubuntu.
Yes. I have a question.
Yes, please.
You wanted to make a Docker file based on the Alpine image. Am I right?
No, I'm just giving you the concept of the base image. Just
Base
like
image.
just like I asked you to set up a Tomcat server, what you will do? You will set up a virtual machine, and then you will install the Tomcat. So
Yes.
when you will set up the virtual machine, then you will install the operating system, either Windows or Linux. You will
Yes.
ask where you need, either on Windows or Linux. Okay. So then you will ask, if this is Windows, which version of Windows? Or if this is Linux, which flavor of Linux you want? You want to use Debian or Ubuntu or Alpine or CentOS or Red Hat or whatever, Knoppix. So this will be your next question. And then you will search the documentation to install the Tomcat on top of that specific operating system. So same thing we are going to do for to building the image. We have to decide what is our base image. Okay, that will provide us the core operating system functionalities. And then on top of that image, we will install our own any required software. So,
Understood.
okay, so Docker images. So now you can see the Debian 117 MB. Okay, Debian is higher, bigger than Ubuntu. Ubuntu did more customization. Okay, so now what I have to, my target is, right now I just want to give you idea how to use the Docker file. Then we will do the complex Docker file too. So right now my target is to just update the default.conf file inside my Nginx image. This image contains a default.conf file that I don't like. I want to use the port 8080 instead of 80. So what I will do, I need to write the Docker file, and first of all, again, I will go in yeah, this path. I need to preserve this path. Inside my Docker file, I'm just saving this file. So my Docker file will start with from instruction. So to understand this, I will recommend you to please spend some time on this link where I show you all the instructions of just a minute, actually. Yeah, Docker file syntax.
100 documents.
Yeah. So just take a look on these instructions and this whole documentation, you will get the idea, but I will explain you. So from and then image name. So in which image I want to make a new change. Right now, I don't want to use a very base image just like Ubuntu or Debian. On top of that, I need to install the Apache and everything configuration, very long process. Very simplest, what I will use, I will use the Nginx image. And I'm not defining the tag, it's mean the tag is by default latest. And then next, second instruction is copy. Copy instruction is used to copy the file from the location where your Docker file is in parallel to your Docker file. You put multiple files. So in parallel to your Docker file, there is a file named default.conf. Okay, and put this Docker file inside the container under this location with this name. Okay, and there is one more instruction. If you look here, there is a copy and there is also an add instruction. So right now I'm using a copy. You can see copy files and directories. Add local or remote files and directories. So copy will also do the same thing, but add is more powerful. Add can also copy the remote files. So right now I just have a local file. So default.conf is the name of the file in parallel to, and okay. I just wrote two instructions. So this is the default.conf file. This is my Docker file. Okay, now I want to build an image. I will run docker build -t is the tag. I mean, what name you want to specify for your image. For example, my Nginx. A tag I have not defined, or I can define the tag just like port. But I need to do one more thing. Sorry, inside the default file, I need to change the port to run this with the port 8080. Everything else is good. Now I will build this image. So image name will be my Nginx, having tag this. If I am not specifying the tag, it will automatically use the latest tag. And then this dot is specifying where I am right now. Everywhere you see in Linux, a dot being current location. So what is my current location? This location, where my image build directory I am right now. So this dot is basically showing that where is my Docker file. But now you can ask the question how it will know what is the name of the Docker file. So we use the standard name of the Docker file. If I use here some different name, then I must have to specify the name of the Docker file like this. Or any custom Docker file name, for example, my Docker file. Then I must have to specify the file name. So if I'm using the standard file, I don't need to. Just I did the build. You see the two instructions ran. The very first instruction, what used is just the image, and it just copy the file inside the image. Now run the Docker images. You can see you have a new image built 15 seconds ago. Its size is 188 megabyte. And actual image size is also 188 megabyte because we have not uploaded so much data. We just, what we did, we just upload a file, just modify the port number. So that's why size of both images are same. So now, for example, I want to run Docker run -t -p. For example, I want to use 9090 port, and inside the container, I will use now 8080, not 80. And name of the image along with tag. And also give the so now this container is running on port 8080. Okay, let me inspect this container. Docker inspect. And you can see this is the IP. If I do a curl, you know, what is curl? Anyone can explain? Yeah. So what I did, curl is basically a command line based browser. So I did curl to directly to the container IP because my host machine can directly reach to container IP because the virtual switch is residing on the host machine. So that's why uh, the base machine can reach to this port. So I directly hit this port and this respond me the default Nginx page. So it's mean our configuration is good. For example, I also have another image running as Yasser2 here. So if I inspect this, its IP is this. If I do curl to this IP, on port 80 it will work. On port 8080 it will not work. Okay. So now what port I use 9090 if I go in my browser. mean we successfully changed the port number. Okay, one more concept. Last time I gave you the idea how you can use the hyphen capital P. What this capital P will do? It will automatically assign the external port and internal port. Now you can see the second image is running and it assigned 32768 to port 80. So anyone can answer this, why it is pointing to wrong port. I changed the port inside the container to 80. Anyone? So you remember we did the inspection of a container. And during when we did the container inspection, I showed you one thing.
Expose port, I think
Hmm.
it is written in yes in the Docker file.
Hmm.
Default
So
Docker
just
file of
yes,
Nginx.
yeah. So exposed port. This is the image name. That's why port is coming. But I will do hyphen A after 3 lines. So exposed port in the image as an instruction is written 80. So that's why the capital P is looking to port 80. It's mean you also need to update this port number in the image. It's just like a documentation. So what you will use again, if I go to the documentation here, you can see the expose. The expose instructions does not actually publish the port. Its function is to type the documentation between the person who is building the image. Okay. So when you are using the capital P, it will be confusing. So we must have to use this instruction in our image. And what is it's a TCP type port. Okay. So now when you will build this image, so I'm again building this image with the same command, with the same name. So you can see it will take the leverage of existing cached values. So whatever I built last time, it will, you can see the cached. So first two, it just compare everything is already available in the form of layer on the base operating system. So it just did the new thing. If you now do Docker images, so this is our updated image. And this is our older image. Why it preserves the older format? Because our container is already using this image. So I will need to stop those container docker rm-f. Now this is the older image. This is our updated image. So I need to delete this docker rmi. Now I will run the container with again with this okay, I'm learning with the same image name with minus capital P, this container. No, still it is using port 80. I think build actually when you are building the image should not be in use. So I was using that image because the container were running. So that's why I need to first of all stop all the containers that are using that image. Then we need to again build it.
You think rename the tag?
No, it's not mandatory because every time you cannot. No, it's not pointing to port 80. Normally, what happened 9 minutes ago? It's not updating.
Hmm.
Uh, just to for one more thing. For example, run is an instruction that we can use to do something inside the image. For example, I want to print some message in new image with 80. I think TCP is not mandatory, but let me check again.
Yeah, it's not mandatory.
Yes. Now third, here 2 and 3. This was the cached and this is the new thing. Okay, now yes, now it's built. So I think now you can see 13 seconds ago this image was updated. So you don't need to change the image name and its tag, because when you are in production and you are building images, so you will do the automation. So every time you cannot update the tag, and you also want to take the leverage of existing uh, layers already built. For example, there are 50 plus instructions in a file. So every time if you delete the image or change the name of the image, it will again do all the 50 instructions. And if you just add one new instruction, it will just use a pre-built image, those instructions already built, and only add the new one. So here you can see 2 of 3 was cached and it used. But actually, I think expose you is not something that is actually expose is just a documentation type of change. That's why it's not making a new image. Whatever you are making new inside the file system of the image, that will make the effect. So that's why I just ran a command. So now I will docker ps. Now we will run. Yes, you can see it is using port 8080. But I don't know exactly why it is still mentioning here port 80. Okay, no problem. Let me just 32773. This is working. Okay, so what we did, we build a Docker file. Okay, now the question why I create a new directory. Because when you are running Docker build command, it will look around its whatever data is present in parallel to this Docker file. So if I can also create the Docker file here at this location, but here I have a lot of other files and directories. So when you will run the Docker build command, it will look each and every file and directory what is there. Maybe you wrote some instruction to copy that data inside the image. So that can be confusing. So it's recommended to use a separate directory to build the image. Okay, so now I just want to show you one thing. For example, Docker images, Docker inspect this image I want to inspect. Always inspect by ID. Sometime your container is also running with the same name, so it will inspect a different object. And then I would like to inspect this one. So this contains 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 layers. And this contains 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 layers. You got the difference? If I just do one more thing, grab layers 15 lines. Okay, this is our first image. And this is 6FE. And this is second. This is the original one. This one was the modified one. It has more layers. And this is the actual we downloaded. So when we ran a Docker file and we add the instructions, it's mean we add a new layer. Whenever we are adding a new functionality inside the image or we are copying the new data, it's mean we are adding a new layer. So this is the concept of layer. And this each layer is preserved in your operating system for each image. Okay. So what is the benefit of these layers? What I did, you can see these layers, BC07. All the IDs are same. You see this? Only these two added. But why this is new? Because I just copied the file, configuration file. And what I did, I ran a command, echo, with the run command. The expose command is not making any layer because that is not making effect on the file system of the image. So these two are the new files, new stuff inside the image. That sorry.
Expose command फिर क्या करती है अगर इसमें ऐड नहीं करी?
Expose command तो just एक documentation है. आप जब इंस्पेक्ट करेंगे तो उसमें आ जाएगा. वो ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम के फाइल सिस्टम में कोई मॉडिफिकेशन नहीं लाती. तो जो भी चीज ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम के फाइल सिस्टम में मॉडिफिकेशन लेके आएगी उस की वजह से लेयर्स ऐड होंगी. Okay, so why we discuss this in detail? Because next time when you will build the image, it will take the leverage of existing layers on your operating system or where in your repository, and it will only upload or download the new layers. And while building the image, it can take the leverage of existing layers. It will not build the layers that are already available. It will only build the new layers. Okay, so this was the concept of layers. Any confusion in this concept? Please, you can ask question.
The Docker file works on how many components?
Sorry?
File works on how many components? Expose is one component, add is one component, maintain is one component, from is one component. How many components Docker file has?
Depends how many components you need. Actually, we will not use the word component. We will use the word instruction. initially I was also using this like a command, but it's instruction. So how many, it depends what is your requirement. What was our requirement right now? Actually, what the scope of work I gave you, I want to change the port number of Nginx I downloaded from Docker Hub, publicly available. So I don't like to run this container or port 80. So I need to modify the file system. So I just need to upload my new file. I can also do this job without uploading the new file. What I can do, for example, if you want to change inside this configuration file directly, there is a command in Linux sed. I don't want to go in that, that will be confusing. So you can just, what you will do, in the Docker file, you will run a command here instead of doing this one. You will just use the sed, and there's a whole syntax. You will provide this file inside the image and modify this file. It will update. So you don't need all the instructions. Whatever your requirement is, you will use those instructions. But mandatory one is from. You cannot build any image starting without from, because this is the starting point, what base operating system you are going to use. So I use the pre-built image of Nginx. We will build our own Nginx or Apache or Tomcat or any application from scratch by using the bare minimum operating system, just like I showed you, Alpine or Debian or Ubuntu or Red Hat or CentOS or Monterey, anything that will not contain any Apache server, nothing. Just like you set up the new operating system, now you have to set up it. Okay, so now what I want to do. Okay, now I want to build my own image. So I gave you just an idea. So now I want to use, for example, what images I have. So just remove those images after building. Some old layers are available. Or am I? Okay, now I want to build a web server from scratch. So I can build on Debian or, for example, or I can use, for example, CentOS 7, I think. Seven days ago it was updated. Okay, we can use this. This is pre-installed. They install this software inside this. I don't want to use this. I just want to use the very bare minimum. Or this is official build of Armani. This is just the operating system, not installed with any new software or customization of the file system. What I will do, I will pull this one. They are giving latest and minimal. Both size will be different. You can see each layer size is also mentioned here. So if I do a pull, and now I'm going inside the image build. You can create a new directory for each new image build, but I am doing everything inside the same directory. So now I am going to use this image, okay, as a base. And what is my target? I want to make my own install my own Apache or Nginx server on this. So what I will do now, I will go back to the documentation, and here I can add some description, for example. Okay, very simple. From I used, I can put any label. Label is also a metadata. You can say add metadata. This is just for the purpose of documentation. Maintainer, who built this image? If you want to specify your email or your detail, anyone want to contact you, you can define this. So, for example, I go down and anything mentioned. You click here for the maintainer. So maintainer and then the name of the maintainer. So they gave, so maintainer instruction, okay, the label instruction is the much more flexible. They are saying that don't use the maintainer. Label is much more flexible. Okay, I will just copy the syntax from here, just put it here, and I define my own detail. Okay, for example, this is my DevOps training, and this is my email address. Okay, and what else I can do? What port I will expose, I will mention. Okay, any environment variable I want to declare. Okay, I don't want to do environment variable. Any file I want to add? No, I just want to run some I want to run some command. So what I will do, I will run here yum install. Actually, this is Alma Linux is a RPM based distribution. So I want to install HTTPD is the package of to install the Apache. Okay, so it will install this package, and -y is mandatory because there should nothing be interactive inside your Docker file. I mean, you cannot, when it will build, it will ask you to press Y. So you must have to specify automatically runnable commands. So I just, why, okay. And the second thing is you must have to build step by step. I can run other instructions too, I mean expose and how to start the service, lot of other things. But I just want to test right now these three things. If this is good, I can go ahead with the next instruction. So I just want to check if I run this, will this be able to install the package, and is this image contain the proper repositories to connect with its by using from internet. So what I will run docker build -t, for example, Apache Alma Linux latest, I can say dot. Okay, so there is an error. So how now will we will identify command not found? It's mean yum is not command inside this image. So I think they are providing DNF command, or they are using some different command. DNF is the new command for Red Hat. DNF, let me test this. No. So what I will do, no need to worry. I will just go to Google. I can say Alma Linux. Yum command not found. This is not the right way. I don't know exactly what is the issue because this image is not providing me this package, this yum command. So what I will do, I will use some CentOS because I also use Alma Linux very first time. So I will download some image. For example, I want to use CentOS. CentOS. I want. Yeah, this is the base CentOS. This is deprecated. A year ago, it was
They kindly
built.
use one command, micro DNF.
Mhm.
Micro DNF inside the file of Docker.
Okay,
Micro
one more thing. Okay, instead of changing everything inside the Docker file, what you can do, you can run Docker run, and you can run this. Okay, hyphen IT, not with D, and with the bash. Bash will run this container as a base operating system, and you will be inside the container. Now tell me the command. What is the command? You are muted.
Micro
Okay.
DNF. Micro DNF.
Hmm.
All yum.
This is a new command in Alma Linux. They are not using yum. They are not using DNF. Okay. So what I did, this is a new thing for you too. I just jump into this container by using this command inside this container. So this is sometime good for the troubleshooting because when you are running a container and its service is automatically stopped, the container will go in the crash state. How you will get inside the container? So you can use this way. Every container will provide you at least SH. If bash is not there, at least SH will be there. So you can go inside the container. In this case, your default service will not run. You are running shell inside the container directly. So then you can verify what is the issue in the file system. So now I will use micro DNF in my Docker file. Okay. So we will build this step by step. Okay, great. It's been no error. We did our step number 1, mean the installation of the package. we install the base requirement of our. Now, what is the process? We have to also define what port it will expose. So by default, it will expose the port 80. Okay. Okay, what else I can define if I go back to this documentation? I need to start the service. Okay, so normally in Linux, how you are starting the service? Anyone can tell me the command? Anyone ran the Apache? So now
CTL.
systemctl normally we are using to run the command, start the service. But here inside the container, you cannot run these commands because this is very bare minimum operating system. It only contains the binaries. So we have to play with the binary. So I will give you the concept how services are normally starting in our operating system. For example, I systemctl. I ran systemctl, for example, status cron croned cron. Yes, cron is a service. So this service is running on my container. Any container, any service reference you can take. So actually this service, when you are running this command systemctl start or restart a cron service, its service file is residing here. Okay, just do a cat to this service file, or vim, it will show you in color. So this service file has three portions: unit, service, and install. And the core thing that is inside this file, when you run systemctl start or restart or stop or reload, whatever you do, actually what happened, this command ran execute start at the starting of this service. This binary is available on your operating system under USR and SBIN. Cron binary is available, and -f, -p are the switches. I don't know exactly. You can see the documentation. And extra ops. This is an environment variable, and this environment variable is provided by operating system. It's mean you can also run the cron service without running systemctl command. You can run this command -f, -p, just understand what is the value of this extra param opt, and provide it will start your cron service. Okay, and for the killing that, to stop that service, you can use kill signal. So what is the leverage when we are using systemctl? It is giving us the leverage to automatically uh, do all those steps on your behalf, because when you will run these commands manually, it will be very difficult to understand. So any service you see, for example, network service, just or I can see here a lot of other services are there. These are all the services. For example, SSH, I think SSH dot service. This is the service file. And here in this service file, what is happening? Execute start. This binary is running with. So you don't need this. You can directly run by this on reload. This is running on reload, on start pre-execution. This is its own syntax. So in Docker file, you will use the binary directly to run inside your image. You cannot run the service by. So we have to understand how to start Apache service in container. Docker file. So here you will get the idea. Sorry. This is the binary. So if I now go inside this Docker images, and what image I build this image. Docker run -it. Whatever I built so far, I just want to jump inside this container. I know bash is inside this. Okay, so I believe Apache control is the command that will use to start the service. And Apache control, how Apache control can start the service. This is the command. So this is the command that will start this service inside my container. Now I am inside the container. HTTPD, yes, HTTPD is at this location, -d foreground. So now this process is started. Okay. And it's mean this is the right command I can use to start. So this is the binary, and this is -d is the argument, and then foreground is switch. This is the switch, and this is the argument. Now I want to start this Apache service inside my container. So what I can write in my Docker file. Inside my Docker file, I can use two things. There are two things to start any service. There is Entrypoint, and there is just Docker file syntax. There is Entrypoint and CMD. So if I go to, I just want to show you the yes, CMD, and there is Entrypoint. So these are the two instructions. Okay, how these are different? You can use the executive Entrypoint inside the failure. Okay, so I will use both step by step. So Entrypoint, first of all, I will use. And Entrypoint syntax is you have to provide in square brackets everything inside the square brackets, and everything should be quoted, double quotes. And I believe there is a comma separation too. Yes, comma separation. Okay, so now Entrypoint will run this command to start the Apache service. So let's build this now. Any container is running based on this? No. Okay, so now this was cached and okay, new image is built. Now Docker images, you can see let me start this container now. Let's see what happened, what errors will come or not. Docker ps. Okay. Okay, good. It's up. You can see a random name is assigned and 7 seconds ago it ran and it used this command inside the container. And this was the image. Now I will inspect this image. This container. And this is the IP. If I do a curl to this IP, and very good, it's showing me the default Nginx page. Sorry, not Nginx, Apache. Let me just remove this and again run this container. Sorry. With port forwarding. External port I want to use, for example, 8081. And inside the container, I know port 80 because I did the curl directly when I did the curl. So I have not provided any port. By default, it's HTTP protocol. Okay, this one is running 8081. Now I go to my so this is Alma Linux Apache web server ready. Okay. So now if I do Docker images and Docker inspect this image, you can see how many layers are there. Only 2 layers. This is the layer from base operating system, and this is the layer we use to install the package. The rest of all the command and expose is not part of the layer. And if we look into the size of this image, it's 162 megabyte. And what was the actual 88 megabytes? So how much you added in the base layer, whatever packages you installed that add in that image. Okay. So this was the process of building image. This is very, very basic idea I gave you. You can add many other things. Okay. But with the passage of time, you will understand how these things are, how different instructions you can add for what purpose. Okay, now this entry point basically decided, I mean, my service will start. I can also write here CMD. CMD is the command I want to run inside this container, because this entry point or CMD will basically decide the life of this container. The life of this container. So when this service will stop, it means this container will be dead. So let me now build this image. Just a minute. Docker ps -a There is a command to kill all the stop and start container. I don't remember exactly. So that's why I'm cleaning everything like this. Okay, now I will build okay, Docker images. This is the latest. Why the time is not updated? Because file system is not updated. Only I add whenever anything will change in the file system of the image, then it will update the time. But now I use CMD instead of entry point. So Docker run -d capital P. Let's see how our expose is working. Expose instruction we gave. And okay, Docker PS. This time you can see the command. This is running. Okay, the same happen. Either I use the entry point or either I use the CMD. Both did the same job. Okay, and it automatically connect with port 80 outside port 32775. Just browse one time 32775. Yes, it's working. Controller 5. It's working. Port 80. It's sending traffic to port 80. So what is the difference in entry point and CMD? Now I will explain you difference of entry point and CMD. CMD is the command you want to run, and entry point you can also write like this. Entry point is basically defining what command you ran. Its argument. Let me test this, then I will explain. Okay, this is my command. This is my binary file I want to run, and using these switches and arguments. Okay, let me build this image now. Yeah, error. No, I need to just change. Just a minute. I think here it will be CMD.
ये CMD कमांड क्या करेगी?
वही इसी को समझने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. इसको बिल्ड करके देखते हैं ना. आप चल गए. Okay, so what this command will do, it will start the service. So both CMD and Entrypoint did the same job, but how they are different, we want to understand. Okay, so Docker images, our image is build. Okay, now Docker run -d capital P. Okay, this container we just ran 7 seconds ago, it's working. So now you can see the command is same. So how this is different? What they did. So and if I open 32777, it will work. Yes, this is working. So now how entry point and CMD are different. So if we look into the exact definition of entry point and CMD, you can use the execute from the entry point to set fairly stable default command and argument, and then use either CMD to set the additional default that are more likely to. So basically CMD, either you can use a CMD or entry point, both is good, but CMD is overridable by you. To understand, this is controllable by you. When you will run the command, you can change these arguments at the time of starting this this container. You can override these values. And this is not overridable. This is hard coded. So when you use entry point, it's hard coded. You don't have any control when you start the service. But when you use CMD, you have control to override it. To understand this concept, I will build another image. Let me go back and mkdir image build to image build, and this is our this image we use. Okay. One thing I want to check, either ping is available in. No, ping is not available. To install the ping, what command we can use? For example, I say, anyone can check on internet what command we need to run to install the ping utility. Then you will understand what is the difference in CMD and entry point. EP, I will use existing Docker file.
Sir, I have a question, please.
Yes, please.
Sir, will daemon ignore the CMD when daemon starts? Will daemon ignore the CMD and only execute the entry point?
Which daemon?
Any daemon when you start the daemon of run the Docker file for the building of image.
No. At the time of building, no, it's all about when you start the container.
Okay.
So when you start, this daemon is running HTTPD. Okay, and this HTTPD is using these arguments. By using CMD, you can provide this. So anyone check the what package we need to install the ping? Anyone, please, because it will save our time. Now what I want to do, I want to ping, and in Linux I can use. Okay, just leave this one. For example, I want to ping this IP. So this will be a command and this is the argument. Package anyone found? But ping command is.
Yes.
Yeah, what is the package name? Sorry?
I dash y I put it dash ping.
Sorry? Okay.
IP
It's
utils
for
dash
it is for CentOS, Alma Linux or Ubuntu.
it's for Ubuntu.
Okay, so now I am building a new image for expose there. I am building an image that is using the ping utility, and it will run this command with using this argument. Okay. Docker build. Ping is the name of the container. Ping test, I can say. And yeah. Okay, this is the right package, I think. What happened? No, did not complete successfully. IPUTILS ping is not a package. Check again, please.
I think to save time, we should change the base image to Alpine or Debian.
Alpine already, Alpine don't have ping. Or we can use, yeah, I think we can use the base image. Yeah. Good. We can use Ubuntu.
Yes, then you will put -y before IPUTils.
None of that -y is always at the end. I can type here apt update. Apt install IPutils ping. I think this is the package. You just give me a minute. I'm coming. I need to change my location. Okay, this image is built. Okay, great. So Docker images, ping test image is ready. Okay, now what I will do, Docker run -t and sample this image I want to run. Docker ps. You can see its command is ping 1111. It's pinging, and it will continue ping 111 because this is a base process of this container. Its job is to just ping this IP. Okay. How I can see the logs? I think we have not discussed this logs command so far. Logs, Docker logs, and the ID of the container. It will show you the last log. If you want to see the real-time log -f, you can see inside this container, consecutively ping is running. Okay. Now we have to understand with this example how CMD and entry point is different. This is very important point. First of all, let me stop this container because it is. Okay. Now, this is my ping command and this is my argument. Okay. How can I override this argument if I run the same container command? And now this time I want to ping a different IP. I can supply CMD on the runtime while running the container. This time you can see the 111 is override by 888 by you. You did this. So this is the benefit of using CMD. So either you can put your whole startup command in CMD or either you can put your whole startup command in form of entry point. What will be the difference? You can use a different startup program instead of the hard-coded bit within the bin image if you are using CMD. But I cannot override this ping. I just have the leverage to take this I change IP. Now, if I look the logs, you can say this time it is pinging to 888. Okay. Now, if you go to Docker Hub and you see all the images that are available, for example, any image, any tag. This is a tag. Okay, go to tag. So inside the tag, you can see the Docker file, how they build it. This is the Docker file. They use from this. This was a base image they used. Then they use the add instruction. They use label. They use CMD. Let me show you the Nginx. So actually, when you are pulling the image, in fact, you are building the image. All these instructions written for every tag. For example, this is the tag. So here, all the instructions used to build this image. You can say from, they use this Debian image, base image, and add instruction, CMD, label, environment variable, copy, and they are not using entry point. They are using CMD to start the Nginx. This is the command. So you can override your own command at a time of starting the container instead of using this nginx-g daemon off.
Sir, excuse me.
You got it? Yes.
Sir, entry point specifies the command when the container starts, always starts, and the CMD specifies that will be feed the argument will be feed by the entry point. CMD always specifies arguments that will be feed to the entry point.
No, we
Am
build
I
the image. We build the image totally with CMD. We build the image totally with the entry point. Entry point and CMD both have the power to run the command as well as its argument. Okay,
okay?
but
Okay.
entry point cannot run as argument. CMD has the tendency to use
Okay.
as an argument.
Okay, I
Okay.
got your point that CMD has the feature to specify the argument to the entry point.
Yes, argument to the entry point. That is the exact definition.
Okay, I got it. Thanks.
Okay, so now with this example, you understand how we can override any value. So while building the image, you should know the difference between entry point and CMD. Okay, now let me show you one more thing. Docker run. I ran doc nginx container, but this time I want to run this container not with nginx service because it's using CMD. I want to use ping is not there. I want to use, for example, bash docker ps minus a. You see, it's exited because what command I gave him, this container, this does not, this bash ran and quickly exited. That's why it's exited. So with this way, you can override any command that is inside the container. So now, if you are good with this concept, any confusion? If you are good with this concept, we can proceed.
काइंडली थोड़ा सा रिपीट कर लें, थोड़ा सा दोबारा छोटा सा
क्या जो चीज समझ नहीं है एग्जैक्ट वो बताएं, क्योंकि हमने तो बहुत सारी चीजें डिस्कस की हैं।
एंट्री पॉइंट और इसमें ना थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस
देखिए, एंट्री पॉइंट होता है और सीएमडी दोनों होते हैं, जो भी कंटेनर की सर्विस स्टार्ट करनी है ना आपने, उसको डिफाइन करता है। Whatever you want to define as a startup service for your container, you can define in the Docker file as entry point or CMD. Both will work same. But what is the difference? You can override the CMD value, but you cannot override the value of entry point.
ओके
Yes. सिर्फ इतना सा फर्क है उसके अंदर, ठीक है। एंड सेकंड डिफरेंस इज एंट्री पॉइंट can work as the base binary that you want to run, and CMD can provide the arguments. Okay, so if you look here on Docker Hub, all the images, any image you name, for example, MySQL. For example, MySQL. Sorry, my laptop battery is going down. I need to connect charger. So if you go here and you go to tags and you click here, you can see how they build this image. They are using CMD. Okay. So
The entry point cannot be overwritten.
yeah,
And
they are using
CMD can be
CMD. Yeah, CMD is overridable by you, but entry point is not overridable.
CMD is
Okay.
overwritable and entry point is not overwritable.
Yes. So here they are using entry point as well as MySQL D. So in entry point, what they are using? You are using Docker entry point.sh. They wrote some script. They put that script inside the container and they define entry point to run this script and use MySQL D as an argument for this script. So this script may need this different arguments. So they define this argument. Just give me a minute. We connect the charger. Okay, so you got this idea. So now you understand what is the concept of layers, what is the concept of caching, and what is the concept of image building, and what are the instructions we can use. We use the very basic instruction. We have not used environment. We use copy, almost all instructions we use, but there are a lot of instructions. So when you will stuck in some process, you will see when you will see the solution, they will provide you different instructions. You can use this instruction for this purpose. Okay, now the last thing we have to understand how to upload the image to the repository and how to make that image as a public or private. So for example, I built this image. First of all, you need to create an account in Docker Hub. Docker Hub is a centralized repository where you can upload your images. Sorry. So you can create your own account here, free of cost. This is my account, very old. I don't remember even password. So I create this account, and this is my own login. And these are all the images I uploaded, whatever I build for different customers. for different projects. I uploaded here. In the free edition, these are all the images I uploaded. So how many downloads are done so far? So in the free account, you can make only one image as private. Rest of all will be public. So let me see what image I make. Yeah, this image is only private. So only one image you can make private. I don't know exactly how much space they are providing to upload the images, but you can do this. And by the name of your account, by default, repository will be created. You can create your own separate repository. For example, I want to create a repository name and DevOps training. This repository I cannot make private, only public is available. Okay. So if you purchase the subscription of Docker Hub, you can make all your. So this is my repository, path of the repository inside my account. Okay, this is my main login I created. And whatever login you will create, I create this random number. But you could have your username, proper username here. And under this repository, I create this repository. And in this repository, I will upload the images. Actually, whenever you are uploading the image, it's automatically creating a repo. This is a core repo, and under whatever the name of the image will act like a repository. And inside the repository, there are different tags that you are maintaining. Actually, the tag contain the actual data. Okay, so to upload the image, what I need to do, first of all, I need to log in to my Docker account. I will not log in. I will show you the error what I am getting. Docker images. So this image, for example, I built. This is my web server I built. So what I will do, Docker tag. You can re-tag your image by providing its different name. So whenever you need to upload your image, you must have to provide its value, because when you will upload, it need the information where to upload, in the Google repository or in the Azure or IBM or AWS or where. So by default, I told you in very first session that all the directions of Docker is towards docker.io. But inside the docker.io, you have to define what exactly repository you want to connect. So my repository name is this. You will put your repository name. And before that, you can also write docker.io. Okay, in docker.io, there is a repository named this, and inside create this image with different tag you can define, otherwise it will go with the latest. Or if this is some different Red Hat, you can provide redhat.io. They have their own repository. So if you are not providing and you are using Docker, it will directly point to docker.io. And if you are using Podman or different Red Hat based container runtime engine, it will use Red Hat repository by default. So what I am going to do, I'm going to tag this image, and for more meaningful, I will use the docker.io for this to make them more. So what I did, Docker images. So you can see this is its ID and its ID. Both IDs are same. They have not occupied anything new on your disk. You just add a new tag. Okay. Now I want to push it to my repository. So I will use Docker push and then the name of the image. Now name of the image is specifying where has to upload. And you can see by default it is connecting to docker.io, and now it is access denied. Why? Because this is my private repository, so I need to log in. Docker login. So now again, where it will log in, by default, Docker is pointing to docker.io. Otherwise, you can provide just like this docker.io in front, or Red Hat, or whatever repository you want to log in, you can connect. So my username is, and my password. Yes, login successful. Now I am connected to my Docker Hub repository using my command line. Now what I will do, again push. It is uploading. It will upload the image layer by layer, the image to the repository. You can see it uploaded only, I think, one layer, because already on the repository Alma Linux base image was available. So it just upload whatever I did new inside this image to the repository. Now, if I go to my Docker Hub and you can see this is uploaded. This is publicly available. Okay, and anyone, if you, any one of you having running Linux, anyone can. Anyone having running Linux right now with Docker? Fazil or Imran or any Imran?
Yes.
Can you share the screen? Okay, let me do one more thing, just to clear the concept. Fazil, just a minute. I want to do one more thing. I built this image. Okay, I want to make it more meaningful. For example, I build this image, this Docker file. In this Docker file, by default, this Docker file has, I want to free CSS, free CSS, some meaningful website I will upload it. In this Docker file, I will install Apache as well as wget and unzip. These three utilities. Then I will run. I will work dir is also instruction, and I think by default var www html is the location where it will go as a web root. So I change my work directory, just like work directory is working just like cd, switch to this directory. And here inside this directory, I want to run wget download this whole package. Okay, I will go step by step. So just let me build this image. Docker build -t my website. Okay, let's see what happened. So actually my target is to build a complete running website. I will upload in the repository and you will pull down on your PC and you will run. You will see it is migrated from my PC to your PC within minutes. And think about if you are thinking to migrate any virtual machine. It's very difficult. Docker images, a new image ran. I just want to Docker run -it What happened? Oh, actually, what I need to actually why I upload when I ran bash, it used bash as an argument to HTTPD. May you get this point? So what I need to define this as a complete entry point. I don't want to use CMD. Or either you can use CMD or either you can use the entry point, anyone. Double quotes is additional here. Double quotes is missing. Okay, now build.
I think screen sharing has stopped.
Screen sharing stopped when? Now you can see.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so it was not sharing. Okay, now so what I did in this Docker file, you see these whole steps, what I did? HTTPD, wget, unzip. What I did, I add these packages and I switch to, I would change the work directory to this directory. This is a default webroot directory. And then I am downloading this complete website from this free CSS. And now, okay, now this is the entry point. Now I just want to see Docker run -d, and again this my website.
Unarchived step is missing.
So do we need to unzip first?
No, and unzip we will do, but I just want to verify what happened so far with my, no, still it is using the old, just a minute, Docker ps-a, Docker rm-f. Let me remove all the. Again, it is using the same. No problem. I can run this as a daemon. Docker execute -it. I am jumping inside this container. I want to see. Yeah, you can see now I am inside var www.html directly. And ls-l, this is unzip. This is zipped is downloaded. Now what I need to add instruction in my Docker file, unzip. Unzip is also installed. I will add this instruction. So I am just testing here. It will create a directory. Then I will move everything from this directory to my web root. And okay, and then I need to delete this zip. And what was the directory? Yes, this directory. I don't need this. So these instructions I will add in my image. So first what I did, unzip, and then what I did, move and delete. So in my Docker file, run. Okay, and then again run move command I ran. Okay, and then I ran this one. Okay, Docker run -d just to make sure my website is working. 32778. Okay, perfect. Now, Fazil, I will upload this in my repository, and you will download and you will show your screen how. Docker tag. At the time of building, you can also assign the tag. I build this, I will assign the tag docker.io/ this is my repo name. And inside this repository, this is the image. Docker file, no such. Oh, sorry, I am not in the image build directory. Docker images, this new image build, Docker push this image to my Now, Fazil, go to share your screen and just write this Docker push, Docker pull, docker.io/4675196/ my website. This is.
Can just paste this string in the chat.
Oh, okay, I will. Okay, I did. Now you share your screen. Yes.
Is my screen visible?
The
to all of you?
command, yeah, we can see your screen. Command is still trying to, it is not sent. You just go to your terminal, I will guide you.
Mhm. Docker pull.
Sorry, Docker pull, docker.io
Mhm.
/4675
/4675
196
196
/my
Mhm.
hyphen website.
Any tag?
Enter. No, latest. Enter. Just a minute. Now your net ping internet, ping google.com or it's working. Just a minute. 4675 196 / my web. Just a minute. Let me check. Just remove the docker.io. It's not reachable. Your PC is not able to reach to Docker registry. You are using, let me check this is uploaded properly or not. Yes, this is uploaded. Go to Docker Hub or let me send you the pull complete pull.
Pull command.
Yes, it is same 4675196 hyphen 4675196 / my hyphen website. Tag is latest. I'm sending in group. In WhatsApp group I sent. Run this command.
I can see on Docker Hub.
Yeah, this is available here. Click here. 3 minutes ago I uploaded. You copy this command, pull. No, there is some problem with your system is not able to connect with doc. Oh, yeah, now it's working. What you change?
Yeah,
Sudo. You are
I
not
think
logged
my
in.
user.
You need to be a sudo. Okay. Okay. Now what you will do? You will run this container and expose the port. You will see the whole project is uploaded to your system. So with this way in DevOps or continuous integration, continuous deployment, the images are built, images are uploaded to the repository and then pulled down and ran on different environments. It can be on the Kubernetes, it can be on the Docker. Okay, so next session, we will do the multi-stage build. Right now, what we did, we set up this. Now, if you inspect this image, you will see the multiple layers are there. After downloading, just inspect this image. So how we can reduce these layers? In the next session, we will understand what is the concept of multi-stage build and how to reduce the additional layers of your image. You are using Docker Desktop?
No, you went to desktop on my window machine.
Went to desktop, how you connect with Management Studio? Oh, WSL, okay.
Yeah, WSN.
Now just inspect this image. So these are the layers. Now run this container. The right click, ID is already copied.
This one.
Yeah, now type this IP in the browser with this port. Okay, this is working. Okay, so now today we understand what is the concept of migrating main application, how quickly application is migrated from one location to another location. So in the old days, virtual machine migration was very difficult. This is the biggest leverage that make used why DevOps use this microservices containers technology, because its relocation is quite easy. Its building is quite easy. Okay, so now in the next session, tomorrow, we will discuss the multi-stage. And I think two more sessions are just required to complete the Docker part. Then we will start the Kubernetes. So any question?
Yeah, and if someone want to practice the Docker file and instructions, just go to the docker.io, docker.docs, and refer to the packaging your software.
Packaging your
So it
software,
will
yes.
provide it will provide some basic instructions from run, working directory, copy, and also provide some simple example. So you can just copy these instructions and